Welcome back, guys. This is Arnaldo, aka Mad Dog, and this is The Real, episode 196 of GG's The Mouthful Podcast.
GG!
That voice, of course, is Mr. Gilberto, aka Chaos Reaper, joining me from across Florida. What is up, sir?
Oh, not much. It's Monday for me, sadly, whereas it's Friday for the rest of the world.
It is. And I have to correct myself, sorry. The real episode 195 is what this one is. I had to look that shit up.
Oh, my God.
I know. I've gotten completely confused. It's been a hell of a week, and it's just going to get crazier for the weekend.
Really?
What you got going on other than work, sir?
Well, I started the new season for MK11 that started, I think, today.
No. What you got going on for the weekend? We'll get into that in a second.
It's work, man. It's work, and more work. That's literally it. Are you serious?
I was just checking.
This is the highlight of my weekend.
It's just working, right?
Yeah. Well, this podcast is the highlight of my weekend.
Oh, I got you. My wife and I were going to head out to the Scottish Festival tomorrow, and we've gone there almost every year at this point. Really, mostly to drink, even though I can't really drink right now. But it's always a cool little festival. I get to throw an axe, try to stick it at a target.
Well, that sounds like fun.
It is a lot of fun. I'm not going to lie.
But what is my name?
We'll do. For awesome. Chaos.
Yes, and I want pictures.
All right, we'll do. So yeah, that's what we have planned for the weekend right now. But that's really it, man. That and some rest because work has been horrible. I don't know about you, but work has been horrible.
I mean, work is work, man.
Yeah, that is true. If this is your first time listening, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Please go to goodgame.rocks. Join the conversation there. Takes you right to our Facebook group. And of course, please like, subscribe, and share the podcast with everyone. What we normally do, guys, first is we go into what we have been up to, roll into some various news items, and then finish with our hot topic of the week. This week's hot topic. Film of the decade, or movie of the decade. I don't know, however you want to call them.
It's like movies of the decade since we're doing a top 10.
Yes, movies of the decade. This is going to be our own personal films of the decade. So
no need for vetoes.
Yeah, there's no vetoes. Although they didn't work, I kind in retrospect, I feel kind of wrong. Yeah, I feel kind of wrong. I was like, no, that's not how vetoes work. But
should have been a guaranteed spot on that list.
I agree. Even if I agree. But there's no vetoes in this one. This is your personal top 10, Chaos, my personal top 10. You can include movies that you feel should be on the list, even though nobody else cares about it. It could just be your favorite, even if it's the most shittiest movie in the world. It's your list. You know what I mean?
My
God. Your list. That's your list, and this will be mine, and there's no judgment for either side, other than silent judgment, of course, and maybe a little judgment. So let's start the show, sir, with what we have been up to. What, sir, have you been doing? You are starting off with the Mortal Kombat.
I started off with that, yes, but honestly, there's a little bit of more important news. I finally got my audition for the Tampa Hard Rock. So hopefully soon enough, within the next month, I hope, I will be living over there in Riverview, Florida.
Nice. Sir, I am extremely happy for you. There's one thing I know has to be difficult is being away from the missus.
Yeah. It's been 6 months already, and it's been a lot of driving.
Yeah.
I've been playing a lot of Warframe. I've gotten back into Warframe pretty much in full force. I'm currently building the Railjack, which I have to go farm Argon Crystals, which is this one resource that drops in the void, right? It's exclusively on the void. And The problem with it is that it has a 24-hour timer before it expires, and you lose it.
Oh wow.
And I need 15 of those suckers, which shouldn't be too hard. It'll probably take me like a couple hours at most, but using Necros Prime and its abilities to make more items out of parts of your enemies. So basically, if you kill them with a slash attack and you cut them in half, then you get an item from each half of the body.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's a pretty morbid skill, but very useful when you're farming for items. So there's that. And yes, as I started saying before, that today the Mortal Kombat League started. It's the what is it? The season of death they called it because super
Wow.
ending. Yeah, and yeah, it has just more what is like revenant looking skins for some other characters. I think Kitana and Jax were included there or something. I didn't really pay attention. I didn't see Sub Zero, so I didn't care for that. But one of the rewards for the rankings is a Sub Zero mask. I
Oh
can't
wow.
remember. Yeah, I can't remember the name, but it's the rank of demigod, which is the third highest rank. Which means that for me to do that, it's going to take a shitload of hours, a shitload of matches, and the sweatiest players in existence. Because the higher the ranks you go, the sweatier people are. They're only picking high tier characters like Sonya or Garrus or what is it, Aaron Black, and
Explain sweaty, sir. When you say sweaty, are
it's
they dripping in sweat, or is that a
when you're a
specific
try
term?
hard, when you're trying hard, when you're picking the best of the best just because that's what it is, not because you like it. It's because that's the best character with the best variation, and it's gonna work for almost any situation. And you're using that because it can do that, not because you like the character. Like I play Sub Zero exclusively right now. Honestly, I bought this game because Spawn got announced, so I'm waiting for Spawn. But as of right now, I'm exclusively playing as Sub Zero because that's my favorite character, and I don't have that much time to be learning other characters the way I've learned Sub Zero. Like I've spent months learning Sub Zero, like learning with Dark, and I've held more losses with Dark than I've ever held in my life. And I finally managed to beat his Sub Zero in all of the variations. And one day I beat him twice, which that is like a miracle. But I still have problems beating his Jax, which I think I may have beat him like once. Ever since he got really good with Johnny Cage, I've had a hard time beating his Johnny Cage, and his Garrus I haven't been able to beat yet.
For those who don't know, Dark is short for Dark Necromancer, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken,
yeah, Dark
and
Necromancer.
he is an extremely good uh, fighting game player.
Yeah, he's
you know,
currently devoted
uh,
mostly
yeah.
to Dragon Ball Fighters. And he technically he laid off Mortal Kombat 11, but he plays with me because just so we play something, we play one fighting game together at least. But he wants me to start Dragon Ball Fighters. But I mean, I'm waiting for Spawn. I'm not gonna stop playing Mortal Kombat 11 until Spawn releases and I get my fill of that. But I don't think I've watched anything this week. Oh, I started watching Gundam Wing again. Started rewatching that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty somewhat slow show, and I know they reuse a lot of the action set pieces, which is kind of funny to notice that now as a kid you don't really care. But yeah, so yeah, and I've been watching a lot of Neil deGrasse Tyson on YouTube.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I've taken an interest in space and whatnot, and it's just super interesting to hear him talk.
That's cool. That's cool. For me, I am still chipping away at Mafia 3.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
I still really like the story. The game itself is starting to kind of weigh a little bit on me. It is very, it's got your open world, everything, right? Your collectibles. I don't know if you play the game at all, but there's a bunch of
No,
collectibles you
I've
can
never
collect.
seen it, but I know what you. I know
Oh,
open worlds and I know collectibles.
yeah, yeah. So as I mentioned, if you guys haven't didn't hear the last one, but basically you play as Lincoln Clay, and he's coming out of the Vietnam War, and he's coming back to this new Bordeaux, which is very similar to New Orleans, and he is part. He when he before he left, he was kind of part of a gang, and that gang when he comes back, that gang is kind of underneath the Italian mafia now, and the Italian mafia ends up trying to wipe them all out, and him included. And now he's reenacting vengeance on everyone. He's just going to kill them all, which to me I've always enjoyed. As simple and as silly as those storylines are, I've always enjoyed it, which is why I was always forgiving of Kratos. I got it. I know it's a simple story. It's one dimensional character, but I always kind of enjoyed that. I loved Kill Bill because of that. It was the
Oh,
same thing.
I was gonna say like I really enjoy the God of War series. Like I get it that he was this angry person, but I liked him because he was always angry no matter what. Like he didn't care about anything, just his anger, and I was okay with it.
Yeah. And me too. And it was for me, it was okay. It went with the game. Like it fit what you were doing. It was hack and slash, and what better reason to hack and slash than vengeance, right?
Right.
And so here it's a similar thing, but it's basically in a very GTA type game. You get steal cars and all this stuff, and you're going around and breaking up different rackets and stuff, and basically bringing them into your control and all that. And it's cool at first, but little by little, it just becomes the same thing. It's oh my god, I just need this other area of the city I need to take over, and that's the part that's like I'm doing it because I just want to get to the next portion of the story because I'm interested in the next character. And when the characters are together and they're talking and they're playing off each other, man, it's so good. It's like, man, this is really well written, really well acted. But damn, getting there is few and far between. Um, what makes up for it, I said last time, is the music. Definitely, when you get into the car, man, you hit those nice 50s, 60s, 70s music. Well, at more like 50s and 60s music, in the cars, and it's awesome, dude. I love hearing. It's like, man, I'm
Really?
just driving around. Yeah, I love it, dude. That's I love that old school music like that. So yeah, I'm still chipping away at that, but it's I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to finish it, because it's just a lot. I've only taken over three sections. No, not even two sections of a city that has what looks like 13, 14 sections. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this.
How many
Um,
sections?
like maybe like 13 or 14 sections. It's what it looks like when I look at the map. The map is pretty big. So it's like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do all this. And I don't know if I'm going to take all the sections over. I mean,
Is it a lot of work to take over a section?
no, I mean, I guess not really, because what you have to do, the whole trick is that you need to lure or you need to force the lieutenant out. So the way you force them out is to break up. Like the one racket that I got into was I busted up their marijuana distribution, right? So I destroyed stuff, whatever, and it basically cost them thousands of dollars. And that when basically what you need to do is cost them so much money that they now, for whatever reason, feel the need to come out, but come out and defend that particular business. And then you go in and you just kill everybody, basically.
Oh my god!
Well, technically, in some cases, you have the option to either kill them or keep them and have them make money for you, which you can do as well. So that for me, it's always been like, I guess I can do that, but I guess it depends on the character. If I can see the character as being an asshole, then he's just dead. I'm not even gonna bother. But if it's like one of those like, well, I was only here because of this, I was like, well, maybe I'll keep him around just so I can make some money. There is a potential because what happens is being a lone guy, you befriend some people, and what you do is you give them control of that portion of the city, and then you meet some other people, you give them that. You have the potential of making it lopsided to the point where now some of your friends are like, hey, you're making these people a little bit too powerful, and suddenly you can cause gang wars within your own people. So that's a possibility as well, but I haven't even got that far into it because I don't have that much sections. But so it takes a while to get through all that. But like I said, it's not bad in any way. It's just it almost feels like tedious and it's a little easy. You know what I mean? And none of it ever feels hard. The only thing that ever gets hard is, like I said, when you get into the shootouts and you try to duck behind something and you duck the wrong way or something like that, and you just get shot the fuck up. So it is what it is. But so yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I continue with that. I'm not sure, but we'll see.
Has Dream played Mafia 3?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Oh,
And I think
so you're the only
yeah,
one here that's played it. Because
yeah,
I've never
yeah.
touched it.
It came free for, I don't know if you ever tagged it, but it was free for PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, I remember it
Uh,
being free. I don't know if I cared enough to tag it, though.
yeah. I always tag them, no matter what, whether I download it or not, because you never know. Like in a situation like this,
You're right.
so it's like, hey, oh, okay, well, if you tag it, then you can always go back and just say, well, let me try it since I already have it. So, a little words of wisdom there from your Uncle Naldo, guys. Always tag your free games. um,
Uncle Naldo?
yeah, that's Naldo for short. Yeah.
I know.
So so I did watch some stuff, and one of the things I watched, which like, I was so excited. I told my wife, I said, "Honey, we need to go watch this." I was like, "Well, let's go on Wednesday." We went on a Wednesday night at 9:45 p.m. Now, that may not sound like a big deal, but to a couple of people, past the age of 40, that's not a regular deal on a weeknight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was just like, even she was like, 9:45? What that? And of course I'm like, honey, but we're usually up to one. What difference does it make? It's a difference being
True.
up to one at home than to being up to one and out and about. And so, but either way, we wanted to go check out the movie. It's a movie is in the theater called 1917.
Oh
And
my God, I've been dying to watch that movie.
yes. Oh, good, good. Oh, well, okay. So I'll keep things loose so I don't spoil anything for you.
Thank you.
But this is a movie by director Sam Mendes. You probably recognize the name, but he's done some films. He did Skyfall. He did Road to Perdition. A couple different films there. Some of the stuff he's done is great. Some of it maybe not so good. This one here is probably one of the great ones. Visually, this is an amazing looking movie. It's just
Yeah.
an amazing looking film. Okay. Um, so okay. So the premise is simple. This is in the trailer. The premise is these two soldiers get called in for a special mission. And this is during 1917, so it's World War One. The German line has evidently moved back, which they never, they don't believe. There's other people like that's bullshit, whatever, whatever. But they're pretty sure that's the case, and they move back because they're setting up a sort of an attack or setting up defenses somewhere else that are unknown. And there's this group of soldiers, of European soldiers, that are going to attack a specific area who have no idea how heavily fortified it is, and basically they're walking into their own doom, essentially.
Right.
So the mission is given to the two guys is say, we need you to go tell this general whatever to hold off the attack, and it's it's in your hands. You have to do it, otherwise 1,600 lives are gonna get lost. So that's it. And then you follow you're following these guys through what they have to go just to get there. And one of the things, this isn't a spoiler so much, because it's not story spoiler, but it's almost something that it's almost unbelievable to me. The whole movie feels like it was filmed to look like one complete shot. So there's never a
It's
cutaway.
one continuous shot?
The entire film is filmed that way. I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's edited in between, but it's filmed to look that way. The camera never pulls away. It's constantly following the characters. Anywhere they're going, it's with them.
Yo, that's
It pans around.
amazing.
unbelievable. And the beauty of it is because of that, it's visceral. Everything just is right there. It's just like nothing, anything that happens to them, you're not gonna not see. This is like everything that's there is gonna happen right there. So it's just like, I don't know, dude. It's a great film. I mean, honestly, it's been like I've been thinking about it ever. So I saw it on Wednesday. I've been thinking about it ever since, and I'm just like, man, just thinking about some of the imagery, and some of the basically some of the stuff that happened in the movie, and it is a beautiful film. But and it's hard to say considering it's a war film, but I mean, it's a gorgeous film, even though what's being
Right.
depicted
You
is
have to
is
look at the art of it.
yes. There's just some stuff there. I don't know if you ever seen the movie Platoon, or if you ever seen. There's always these images that stick with you. When you watch a movie, and it's whenever you think of the movie, that's the one. Like, man, that shot. A perfect example, the Avengers, right? The first Avengers film. What's the money shot of that film?
When
It's
they all
the
group up.
Yes, and the camera circles all around them.
Yeah,
It's that
yeah.
one shot, right? And this film has so many of those just like amazing shots, and I'm like, man. And then just to think that that's, that they had, I don't know how, but they had to do it so that, it all looked like one thing. And so it's just amazing, dude. And I cannot recommend it more. You know what I mean?
All right,
It
I'll be
is,
looking
yeah.
forward to it.
Yeah, it is an exceptional film, and it's not perfect. It's not perfect for the record, but it is definitely exceptional in the sense that it it's just not. It's man, I don't know how to explain it. It's just if there's one thing I've always appreciated, I've always wanted to be in the military. Okay, whenever I was young, I always wanted to be in the military. I could never do it because I had scoliosis, so I could never get into the military. But I tried. I did the freaking army, the navy, the freaking coast guard, anybody. You know what I mean?
Wow, really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This was right out of shortly after yeah, high school. Maybe I did like a semester or two of college, and yeah, it was just like yeah, that's just what I wanted to do. I was like, and because part of me always looked at that as the the just the most momentous thing that somebody can do for their country is to be in the front lines doing something like that, and maybe it's a silly thought or whatever, and it probably is, but it's just always been in my mind. So when I see stories like that, when I see stories of soldiers who just whatever they got to do, they got to get this mission done. I've always appreciated the soldier versus the leader. Because the soldier is like, here's your mission, here's what you got to do, and then go do it. No matter what, they just got to do it. It's I don't know how we're gonna do it. We're gonna have to fucking do it, and it just it's just this arrow that just kind of goes that direction because they have no choice, come hell or high water. And I don't know. I've always found something fascinating about that, and this movie just man hits home when it comes to that. So anyway, that's 1917. Uh, if I saw it last year, it would be my movie of the year.
Really?
Yeah, because it's I can't think of anything else that was probably last year. Right off the top of my head, I can't think of anything else that came last year. I guess maybe Endgame. Um, I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, it's a really good, really really good movie. Um, and what's beautiful about it, I don't keep talking. What's beautiful about it is that you don't recognize like the main characters. They're like you don't know them. They're not anybody you've seen before. So you're always in this thing going, well, you don't know what's going to happen, right? Because if there's one problem with seeing an established actor is you have the possibility of nothing's going to happen to them because they're the star, and that's most of the time that's the case, which is why it's so shocking when it's not the case. But anyway, that's a cool thing about it. And they do great. The two actors, they're just the movie would not work without their selling what's going on. You know what I mean? And it's really good. All right, I'm gonna stop gushing about this movie. You guys need to go fucking see
I
this movie.
definitely need to see this movie. Got it. Got it.
So last thing I seen, started watching on Netflix, and it's a series called Wu Assassins. And I don't know
Yo, is
if
it
you've,
good?
sir, where do I begin with this damn show?
I mean, it's okay. Is
So
it good?
it's okay. Okay,
Oh
it's so
god.
first off, it stars. I mean, you probably know the star Iko Uwais. He stars in the Raid Redemption, the main character from the Raid Redemption.
Ooh.
Yes, yes, yes. So he's the main character here. He actually is a chef in San Francisco, and he also happens to be the son of the head of a triads. But he has nothing. He wants nothing to do with that. He wants to work on his food truck and blah blah blah. And anyway, the premise comes in where he ends up inheriting the powers of the Wu assassin, and so in doing so, he has to take out the fire Wu, the metal Wu, and it basically these other people around the world.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. There's other people somewhere where he has to. His responsibility is to kill them, right? And so it's strange because it starts off. It's all contemporary. Obviously, happening in today. Obviously, as I said, he has a food truck, so it's happening in today's time, and he actually speaks pretty good English for the record. I didn't know that. So, um, and so he gets mixed up into this triad thing, and before you know it, he gets pulled into this mystical realm, and now he becomes the Wu assassin, and that's where it just kind of lost me a little bit because I was like, the fighting is good. The fighting is it's not Raid Redemption, but it is good for what it is. It's very impressive. It's graphic because they don't hold anything back. Now again, not Raid Redemption graphic, just below that. But the story is where it's kind of like, okay, this if this is contemporary, this is right now today's San Francisco. Yeah, a lot of this shit wouldn't be happening right now. It just wouldn't be happening. But okay, let's just say it is. There is a lot of mysticism. Hell, there's people using. Let's just say there was a character throwing a fireball at one point. And I'm like, okay,
So this is like
so
Street Fighter?
this is basically at some point, but it's not. It's not because you can just do it. It's because they are of that Wu. Like this is the Wu fire, the fire person. Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah, exactly. So you see what I mean? So it's like some parts of it have me like, yes, because you want to see the fights, you want to see it, and it's done well. Again, the main character and all of them are very good martial artists that are in the show. But it's the in between parts where you're like, okay, some of it's kind of interesting, and other times it's just like, okay, now you lost me. Now we're in the world of the golden monkey or whatever. I don't know, and it's just it's just odd, bro. But hey, it's on Netflix, and if you just want to catch a little bit of good fighting, sure,
Mm,
why not?
maybe I
I,
should just watch the raid.
mm, yes, that's obviously a much better decision, always. But it's not horrible. That's the thing. It's not a horror, and I've only gotten to I think I got to 5 out of the 10 episodes, and I want to go back. I want to go finish it. So that says something. You know what I mean? It's like I do want to go and see what happens. Evidently, there's going to be season 2, so obviously someone's watching it. So
Apparently somebody's watching this.
yeah, exactly. So
All right, maybe I'll give
uh,
it a shot.
yeah, man. Yeah, why not? If you give the first episode, that's the whole thing. You give the first episode. Oh, that was the other thing. This is actually pretty humorous. He one of his abilities is he has the power of 1,000 prior Wu assassins or prior monks. So 1,000. He has the. I don't know. It's weird, but not only that, but he can take uh the look of them, so he can actually appear to everybody else as one of them. So sometimes that's the way of he can hide and stuff like that. He just kind of appear like somebody else will. And that's a cool thing, but it's a little odd. The funniest part of it is that the the one guy he ends up looking like is actually the dude who's the Iron Chef, the actual Iron Chef, the martial artist who's an Iron Chef. Yeah, I know you know what I'm
Really?
talking about. Yeah, he was in John Wick Parabellum. He was the guy he had to fight at the end.
Oh, okay.
The bald guy. That's yeah. I can't think of his name now. Shit.
Oh, the one that was a fan of his.
Yes, yes, to him. Yes, exactly. He's an Iron Chef. He's actually he's on it. So it's funny. The humorous part of it is like, oh, how about that? The character's a chef, and the image that he's using happens to be a guy who's an Iron Chef. So anyway, um, but anyway, that's Wu Assassins.
Connections.
Yeah, that's Wu Assassins. And well, if you're not watching anything else, then why not?
I
Uh,
guess.
yeah, but that, sir, is all that I have been watching. And we are back,
Are we
guys.
though? Are we?
We are.
Oh, okay.
We're not forward, so we have to be back. No, maybe.
I'd say that. Yeah, I'd say that we are.
All right. And it is time, guys, for our trailer of
Of
the
the week.
week. This week's trailer is a little title coming out from Sony called Morbius. Sir, do you know Morbius before this trailer even it came out? Did you know anything about Morbius as a character or
I know he
as
existed.
Ditto? Me too. Like I
I
knew
know
the
he
name.
existed, and I had an idea what he looked like already.
Yes,
I just want to point out that this was called a teaser trailer that's almost 3 minutes long.
I know.
I don't
So
know in what world that's a teaser, but sure, whatever.
yeah, we pretty much kind of saw pretty much everything that happened, right?
Yeah,
Get the
pretty
story all there.
much.
What'd you think, sir?
It looks interesting. Can't say I'm super excited about it, but given the options for trailer of the week, which the other one was Guns Akimbo,
Yes.
Kimbo Guns, whatever the fucking one, which looks absolutely ridiculous, but might be fun to watch. But no. I prefer to give it to Morbius, which at least looks more interesting. It'd be nice to see more about the character.
I agree. I agree. It's especially since I don't know the character, and I do know that it's of the Marvel universe. I feel that this is Sony, you know, continuing to push forward with their Sinister Six plan. Excuse me, which they've had planned for forever, and they've just been on their docket, and they're like, nope, we're going through with it. And I think this is it. I think this is part of that. What do you think? Because I think you see the part at the end where he's obviously teaming up with or at least not maybe not teaming up, but he's meeting the character who played the Vulture.
Right.
We already have the Venom, which is out there, and so that's three. You know what I mean? If they can get them all together, uh, what do you think? Who's missing in the Sinister Six? Doc Ock, and don't even know who else really. Let me see who was in Sinister Six.
I listen. What I know about Spidey is what I played in the games most.
Oh, what do you think about Jared Leto jumping back into I guess
I'm
comic book?
glad. I'm glad he's not the Joker. I'm really glad he's not the Joker.
I think he gets kind of a bad rap. He's not actually a bad actor. I've seen him in other stuff that's not a Joker, essentially, and he's not actually a bad actor. He picks shit roles, to be honest with you, and that's his biggest flaw. He's actually he's a musician and top of all that. So it's just interesting to see what'll come up. Let me see. Sinister Six is made up of Vulture, Scorpion, which technically we saw Scorpion already in the other Spider-Man film. the Shocker.
which we already seen as well.
We did. Yeah, you're right. So I guess we may have him already then.
Huh. Except Doc Ock, right? He hasn't been introduced yet.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, Sinister Six has always. It looks like it's had several different people. Mysterio was part of Sinister Six. Sandman was part of Sinister Six. Hobgoblin.
So there's more members to the Sinister Six than just six?
No, it's like the Avengers. It's interchangeable. It's whoever's
but you don't have like the number's not like the 4 Avengers, so it's not just 4. There can be millions, and they're just the Avengers. But you got the Sinister Six with like a specific number, and suddenly there's like, over time we've had like 25 different members. What?
So it's more like Sinister 66. What it is. Oh man, and it does look good though. It does look interesting. I'll leave it at interesting. It does look interesting. The character. It looks. I mean, apparently he's vampire like. In
vampire like. That's what you're gonna go with.
I mean, I guess. I mean, can he walk in this? Can he walk outside in the sun?
I don't know, but even if it's a different take on the vampire mythos, it's still a damn vampire.
I guess you're right. Fair enough. But yeah, so our trailer of the week, guys, is Sony's Morbius, that unfortunately is technically not part of the MCU. However that works.
Yeah, the Vulture at the end, that makes sense.
Yes, who was in the because Spider-Man is in the MCU. If that film is in the MCU, then so is he. Yeah, so whatever, guys. Whatever. All right, guys, let's move into our useless news. And we'll start with some very disappointing news. Cyberpunk 2077, originally planned to come out April 16th, has been delayed. And it won't launch now until September 17th, 5 months later. According to the studio developer says, quote, "We are currently at a stage where the game is complete and playable, but there's still work to be done. Night City is massive, full of stories, content, and places to visit, but due to the sheer scale and complexity of it all, we need more time to finish the play testing, fixing, and polishing. We want Cyberpunk 2077 to be our crowning achievement for this generation, and postponing launch will give us precious months we need to make the game perfect." While I appreciate that, I'm still a little bummed that it's not. Honestly, I'm glad I didn't take the PTO I was planning to take for a release date. Now I have to look at September's calendar because that's when I'm going to have to do it.
Yep.
I have a couple more delays. You want me to jump into those real quick?
All I gotta say about these delays, as long as it works on our benefit, that they make these games better, then I'm all for it.
I agree. I don't think a delayed game to polish has ever been, detrimental to a game. So I guess that's a good thing. It's just, although, and you know what, I will say one thing. This kind of opens up the spring, because the spring was chock full at one point. Namely, another one, Final Fantasy VII.
I know.
Yes. Game was previously scheduled to arrive March 3rd, has now been delayed to April 10th, says Square Enix producer. Quote, "We know that so many of you are looking forward to the release of Final Fantasy VII Remake and have been waiting patiently to experience what we have been working on. In order to ensure we deliver on a game that's in line with our vision and the quality that our fans have been waiting for, deserve, we have decided to move the release date to April 10th. So it's not that big of a jump. It's just a little over a month away. Still within the spring, but that would have actually put it right next to Cyberpunk, and I think I posted in the group. I was like, yeah, I don't know. I think you're gonna test my loyalties now because I don't know which one I was gonna jump
Oh,
at.
I'm getting them both.
I'm getting them both, but I don't know which one to be because I'm only gonna dedicate time to one at a time.
That's fine.
So
But as long as you
one,
play them both, who cares?
yeah, true enough, true enough. And the last delay that I have that probably nobody cares about, the new Avengers game has also been delayed. This one to September. Crystal Dynamics announced on Tuesday morning, this past Tuesday, that it's delaying Marvel's Avengers game. The game was originally set to come out May 15th, but now will not be released until September 4th. In their statement, quote, "We committed to delivering an original story-driven campaign, engaging co-op, and compelling content for years to come. To that end, we will spend this additional development time focusing on fine-tuning and polishing the game to the high standards our fans expect and deserve." By the way, this is Crystal Dynamics, if I'm not mistaken, also Square division. So
I hope they exceed expectations.
I hope so too. I remember seeing the gameplay, and it looked good. It didn't look bad. I mean, some of the character models maybe a little bit but
Whatever.
yeah, but still, I mean, it's not like I'm gonna
But I
sit
hope
there
they
and
succeed.
stare at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So for my first out of two pieces of news that I have, because wow, this week, Google and Valve are bringing Steam to Chromebooks, and it's all thanks to Linux.
Oh,
Linux?
Linux.
Yeah, that.
You heard.
So Valve has previously made Steam along with a wide range of PC games available on Linux, the open source operating system that Chrome OS is based on. By the way, I'm reading this off Tech Radar. And it seems that Valve's working on moving Steam to Linux has made Steam on Chrome OS a reality. Now the problem is that most of these are pretty basic PCs, like the Chromebooks, the specs, So they won't be able to like run high end games. But hey, if you can get on your little Chromebook a bunch of like indie games or whatever, like you still have hundreds of options, right? Not to mention that making this available on Linux means that you won't need Windows to actually run Steam. So that's just gives people more options, which I think is a good thing.
I agree. More options are always a better thing.
Yeah, because this might make Chromebooks more enticing.
I mean, yeah, outside of NFL, because fucking NFL uses that shit for everything. That's probably
Seriously?
where they. Oh yeah. Well, that's all they use on the sideline.
I had no idea.
Oh yeah, Chromebooks are. They even use it for replays now. It's the most ridiculous. Before it was this tiny little booth that he'd go in and watch or whatever. Now
Yeah, I
some
remember
guy
that.
literally walks over, holds up a Chromebook, and the guy stands there and watches it. It's the most ridiculous
You
thing. I'm
serious?
like, wow, really? The guy can hold his own Chromebook. It's not that heavy, but whatever. Just watch
Yeah.
a replay. Just at some point, Google an NFL replay of this last year. You'll see, it's a bit ridiculous. Speaking of Google, Google Stadia will get 10 timed exclusives by July. The
The
company
God
said.
Machine.
The God Machine will have 10 time exclusives, although it did not say which games will be launching on the streaming platform. The company said it expects more than 120 games coming to Stadia in 2020, with more than 10 games in the first half of this year alone that will be available only on their platform. We are working with our partners to share more on those games soon. That's pretty much all we got. Google announced Stadia's launch lineup in November with just one platform exclusive called Guilt, a fantasy adventure by Deadlight and Rhymemaker Tequila Works. It hasn't yet launched on any other platform, so I guess it's still exclusive to them. The remainder of Stadia's team's note said that the support for 4K on the web was coming sometime in the next 3 months, as will support for wireless gameplay on the web using Stadia controller. So bunch of stuff coming up, but 10 timed exclusives, sir. Timed exclusives.
Oh, that's their timed exclusives. That's okay. That's good for them.
Yeah.
So, nice round of applause for them. Good job.
I'm gonna give them the golf clap. How about that?
There you go. There you
Give
go.
them the golf clap. Well done. Well done, sir.
Um, Now this is less news and more rumors that supposedly Horizon Zero Dawn is heading to PC.
Oh, what?
I know. I'm reading this off again, Tech Radar. This rumor comes from Kotaku, so it's a reliable enough source, I guess. And it seems that three people who are quote unquote familiar with what Sony is planning all confirm that Horizon Zero Dawn is coming to the PC platform. Kotaku's sources also seem to believe that Horizon Zero Dawn will be out on both Steam and the Epic Games Store, although those plans aren't yet set in stone according to the report. Note that the game coming to PC has been previously rumored in December 2019, reinforcing this speculation. A Russian YouTuber, because of course Russian, who correctly predicted Death Stranding being ported to PC this year, said that Horizon Zero Dawn will be out in February with announcement imminent. So yeah, I mean, this is an amazing game that everybody should enjoy. You know, and I'm glad it was
I
an
agree.
exclusive for PlayStation for this amount of time, which gives it enough time for people to actually buy the console if they just want to play the game. But I think this time exclusive bit it's a better move than a purely exclusive move. You know.
I agree. I do agree. I think we're coming to the end of that, a game being locked behind a console, or a device of some sort. And I agree. I think at this point, that it needs to open up, and I think honestly, man, by 10 years from now, I can see most of Microsoft is always already going there. You know what I mean? It's already available. Everything is available via their Game Pass on PC.
Can you
So,
please release Gears of War 2 and 3 on the goddamn Xbox Store?
you think that's bad? So explain to me this, sir. PlayStation, was it PlayStation Now? The streaming one.
Yeah.
The only Dead Space they have is Dead Space 3.
Oh my god, that's garbage.
Exactly. Why is that?
That's
What the hell is
hot
going on too?
garbage.
Yes, makes no sense. Makes no sense. I don't know what they're doing, but
But that
uh,
you could maybe even blame EA for that though.
I guess perhaps. But then why 3?
I don't
I
know
guess they're
because
just
they're
like fuck it.
assholes.
They don't
Yeah,
even care. It's like, look,
because
we're
it's
not selling it.
EA.
Yeah, fucking EA.
But Gears
Anyway,
of War is like, doesn't that shit belong to Microsoft basically? It's a first party title, no?
uh, believe so. Yeah, it should
So
be.
so why do they have one and then four?
I don't know. Maybe there's some sort of there could be some sort of license. It's just an issue with licensing. There's always something in the background that
God
can
damn it.
that can hold shit back. That's the most annoying thing. So, who knows? Do you know if there was any licensed music in there or anything like
I
that?
don't know.
One
I've
and
never
two?
played 2 and 3. Damn it.
Oh, okay. Well, listeners, let us know if there's any licensed music in Gears of War 2 and
I
3.
should ask Sparrow.
Yes, yeah, he would know.
He would know.
He would definitely know. My final piece, guys. I think it is time to bid our farewells to a gaming staple for many decades at this point. GameStop executives say the arrival of new consoles at the end of this year will provide a much needed boost to its stores. But the underlying stat for gaming's leading brick and mortar retailer looks extremely grim. On the 14th of January, the company posted some truly terrible results for the holiday season. Overall, the sales for the quarter were down an astounding 25%. But with the company closing out many of its outlets, retail watchers are generally more interested in same-store comparisons. Unfortunately, these too were down 25%. So, yeah, I think
Damn.
yeah. it's not looking good. So the article I have here, which by the way is on Polygon, gives you a little bit of context. So to put this into some context, it's worth taking a look at some pre-collapse results from other entertainment retailer chains in the recent past. Just prior to declaring bankruptcy in 2017, Toys R Us announced that its third quarter in 2016 sales were down 2.2%, with the same store sales down 3%. Its prior quarter was down 4%. So that's just 2.2, 3, and 4%. GameStop 25%, guys. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, just so you can compare.
Just so you can see, yeah. Blockbuster. Last Desperate Days back in 2010 still weren't quite as bad as GameStop. The video chain final pre-bankruptcy protection revenues were down 20% following the previous quarter, which was down 5%. So you can see, yeah, it's
pretty bad.
It's really it's about time, guys. I think I feel bad because I mean obviously there's a lot of people working there and they've got it's their job, they're just doing what they got to do, but man, that's a lot of stores closing down from that. And just think about it. I haven't bought what do you call it? My son actually, for the record, they went out to buy Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
Oh yeah.
Which just came out, I think, yesterday.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it just came out yesterday. And so there are people. I don't know where they got it from, for the record. They may have got it from GameStop, but there are people who are there still buying, games from brick and mortar stores. But not me, man. I buy everything digital now. It's just, and with the digital sales, it's just getting ridiculous at this point. It's like no point in spending the money, even through Amazon.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So, yeah, man. So,
I still, if I buy something physical, I usually go to GameStop. I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
But I mean, it's just if I had more money, I would buy more shit.
The problem with this world, sir, is if I had.
Yep. But as it is, I can't buy a whole lot of shit, so I don't.
I don't blame you, sir. I don't blame you. But like I said, I ended up getting. I got like 5 games on this last sale from PlayStation, and I didn't even make it to $60. It was just the sales are just ridiculous, and I mean I don't know if I'm even going to play them. I just got them because I was like, oh shit, look, it's on sale. Let me get the list out. I ended up buying Owlboy because Dreamy was talking up Owlboy for so many years at this point, and what else did I get? Let me get it up here for you so you can see. I got, Super Hot, Vampire or Vampire, I guess I'm not even sure. The Messenger, which I technically have on PC, but I ended up just getting here because I just don't like playing on my laptop. Owlboy and then Prey. All of that costs less than $60. It was like 55 or something like that. I mean, dude, with sales like that, I'm sorry, GameStop. I'm part of your problem.
You're part of the problem, sir.
I am part of the problem. All right, guys. Well, that takes us to the end of this segment here. Stick with us. We'll be right back with our hot topic.
Hot topic.
All right, guys, and it is now time for our hot topic.
Hot topic.
Hot topic, guys. Once again, is our movie of the decade. And again, up to the top, the rules are simple. It's just there's really no rules. It's just our personal, each individual top 10 films of the decade. But before we got into it, I kind of wanted to go over some of the worst films of the decade. And I didn't make a list of this. I kind of just went and found a quick little list that I found interesting because you kind of forget sometimes some of the bad movies, and you also forget how stuff that came out in 2010. You're like, oh shit, that did come out. From the top, The Last Airbender was disgusting. I don't know if you've seen the
No.
the anime or the movie. It was no bueno, absolutely no bueno. Adam Sandler's Jack and Jill.
Did I see Green Lantern somewhere?
Green Lantern was in this last decade, so
So definitely should be there.
I agree. Let's see. I don't know. I've never seen
Romeo and Juliet.
Really? Battleship. Did you see Battleship? I remember
Yeah,
seeing Battleship
I don't know if I
FX.
saw all of it, but I saw parts of it.
Me too on FX. I remember seeing it like halfway or some shit like that.
And I was like, what the hell is this? Is not Battleship.
No. Yeah. Paul Blart, Mall Cop 2. Yeah, that was pretty disgusting. The Fantastic Four.
Oh,
Never saw it, but
don't care to see it.
Exactly, for good reason. I didn't see it, unfortunately, or fortunately. The 50 Shades trilogy. Apparently, it's also pretty bad.
Really?
I wouldn't know. My wife saw all, not with me though.
I just want to add a dishonorable mention to the most inconsequential movie of the decade, going to Miss Marvel.
Wow.
To Captain Marvel, whatever the fuck it is.
Captain Marvel, yeah.
Captain Marvel, yeah. Seriously, that you could literally watch every other MCU movie and go into Infinity War, and you literally didn't miss anything.
I agree. Yeah, I can see it, and it was, and in what it did add was completely unnecessary. Like it almost went retroactively ruined some things. You know what I mean?
My god!
Yeah, it's no bueno. This one here, sir, is probably one of the worst. Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice. Definitely on my list of movies.
Hot pile of steaming shit that I had to put myself through because I didn't want to hear anybody tell me like, "Oh, you didn't watch it. You don't get to have an opinion." So I watched it, and it's garbage.
I've seen it twice, so I have
Why?
a good opinion. Oh, because I've never been to film school, but I've learned a lot of things from some people who have, and most of them have always said you should always watch a film twice, regardless. You should always watch it twice.
So you tell me I should watch it again?
No. Au contraire, mon frère. I am not saying to watch this twice because let me tell you, I gained nothing from my second go around.
Okay.
But having two go arounds, I have the opinion needed to say yes, it's hot garbage. As is Suicide Squad, which also came out.
Yep. Never have I seen a movie that has so many helicopter crashes and nobody dying in them.
Sir, there was just so much of that film that made no sense. Absolutely no sense. And it baffles. It literally baffles me when someone sees this film and has the, I don't know, just the gall to sit there and defend it. I'm like, how can you? And
oh my god,
how is it? It's indefensible. It's just absolutely disgusting. The Circle I saw, and I don't know if it was one of the worst movies of the decade. Baywatch I saw, and yeah, that was not very good.
Wow.
The Emoji film I never saw. But
yes, absolute garbage. I didn't see it, but I've seen videos dissecting this movie.
Really?
And good Lord, why was this created? Why is this a thing? And Patrick Stewart's in it.
Is he?
He's the poop emoji. You believe this man lent his voice to this garbage as the poop emoji?
Wow. The last one on this list, this is from Looper, by the way. Looper.com. Cats, which was a perfect way of ending the decade. Cats as the one of the worst
Oh
films.
my god.
I have not seen that, and I saw the trailer, and that was enough to scare the living shit out of me.
All I
Never.
saw is the pitch. There's what is a Screen Rant has this kind of like part that's it's called pitch meeting.
Mm,
I don't know if you ever watched it, but
yes.
they did one for Cats. That's the only thing I've seen of the movie, and that I mean, what you got to see that video. They try to explain the movie.
and he, and even the pitch couldn't do it.
Oh
Huh?
my god, no, no,
That is
it
great.
doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
That is great. Oh man. All right, guys. Let's forget about the shit of the decade and let's move on to the best films of the decade. Let's start real quick with any honorable mentions, sir, that you may have. You feel free to rapid fire any of them.
I only have one. It's Scott Pilgrim versus the World because honestly, I named it because it's probably the best game adapted movie done to date. Because
Yeah.
and it's still a good movie. It's a very entertaining movie because it is adapted so well from the game. So yeah, that's my only honorable mention. I
Only
mean,
honorable mention.
yeah, I just want to point out that my list will be like a lot of mainstream movies. I don't care. It is my list. And there's hundreds of movies that came out in the last 10 years. So
Oh, dude, it's ridiculous.
okay, it's insane. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Absolutely. So, on my honorable mentions, I'm just gonna. There's no particular order. Just gonna throw these out there. I'm gonna get some of the unknowns out of the way, and that is Moonrise Kingdom. Absolutely love Wes Anderson films, and this is one of my favorites. Uh, I won't get into it. It's an awesome film. If you like Wes Anderson, check it out. It's quirky. It's funny. Three Billboards in Ebbing, Missouri. Another awesome film. It's a dramatic movie, but it was one of those films that the character you can't fucking stand in the movie, by the end of the film, you fucking love the dude. And when I say you can't stand, I mean it's someone you literally hate. You know what I mean? And
Really?
that's how good things turn around in that one. Yes, and that one real quick, just to go to that one. The Three Billboards is this mother whose daughter was killed, was raped, killed, and burned to death.
What the fuck?
Yes, exactly. And it's been a certain amount of time, and the sheriff of the town hasn't figured out what happened. So she rents three billboards in the town and on a main street that most of the people have to pass, and basically putting the sheriff on blast, saying, "Sheriff, whatever, my daughter got killed, blah blah blah, on this whatever. Why haven't you found who's done it?" And every time somebody passes that street, that's what they see. And of course, the sheriff is is a well loved. Oh, he's played by Woody Harrelson. He's played as the sheriff, and it's great. It's great. I won't get into it because I can talk about the hell of it, but it's a
Yeah.
really really good film. It's a really good film. Um, it's amazing. Anyway, moving on. Midnight in Paris. Love that film as well. It's this guy who, for whatever reasons, in Paris is like in today's time, and somehow he gets transported back to the 50s in Paris, and I love the 50s, and at some point he goes to the 20s. Anyway, it's a weird movie, but I enjoy it.
I'm sorry I didn't give any descriptions about Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I guess I
I'm sure
should have.
everybody. I have a feeling everybody knows that more than they know anything I'm about saying right now. So,
That okay.
so,
That's
so feel free
fair
though. Feel
enough.
free by all means.
No, no,
If
no,
you
no. I'm good. I'm
okay,
good. You're
okay.
absolutely right on that.
Then and I'll just shoot through these real quick. Birdman, which
Ooh, I
was
want to watch
awesome.
that movie.
It's another great film. With Michael Keaton and what's his name? I can't remember the first guy who played Hulk. Anyway, doesn't matter. Moving on. Birdman is great. Whiplash, that's another
Ed Norton.
excellent film. Ed Norton. Yes, thank you. Whiplash is great. The star is regarding a drummer and this music director. It is rough to watch because man, he is rough on him. You know what I mean? But it becomes something in the end that's amazing. Anyway, The Artist, which is a black and white film, actually came out in 2011. Black and white silent film came out
Wow.
in 2011. Uh, Excellent film. It's obviously if you like that type of stuff. I love stuff that loves to be to pretend to be old because it's black and white. It's not even in the film itself is not in 16 by 9. It's smaller. You know what I mean? It's in that 4 by 3. You know what I mean? So
Really?
yeah. It's pretty cool. Anyway, and then the last one is Skyfall. And this one, I guess everybody probably knows this one. This is a
James
James
Bond?
Bond film. Yep, James Bond film. This one just got edged out for the record for my top 10. It's literally number 11 on the list. It just got edged out. It is probably to me, the best James Bond film. It has one of the best James Bond villains. Also a San Mendes film, by the way. Um, that's obviously a coincidence considering it just happens to be. But really good. If you haven't seen it, if you like James Bond, what the fuck are you doing? You should watch this movie.
I actually watched that movie. I don't remember a lot of it because it's been a while, but I watched the movie.
It's a good movie to me. All right. All right, we're here, guys.
Here we go.
We're going to round robin with our top 10. And do you want to start or should I?
Sure. I have as my number 10 The Raid Redemption.
Boom! Oh shit!
Yes, because okay, again, it's been a while since I last saw this movie, but this movie has one of the best fighting choreography I've seen in a while, and I love this movie for it. I don't even remember the story that well because it's not even what I'm paying attention to. All I want to watch is this guy just duke it out because it's just so good and it's so intense. You can
It is
almost
really
you
intense.
feel
You
the
flinch.
pain. Oh my
I don't know. I
god!
was flinching when I was watching. I was like, "Whoa!"
Yes, so good, so good. It just gets that emotion. It's just so raw. I loved it. So yeah,
Nice.
The Ray Redemption is my number 10.
Uh, the story: 30 cops go to a building and they have to go up, or a thing, and they have to go up 30 flights to get to the drug lord, and they have to get up there as quickly as possible. And of course, all shit breaks out. And when it breaks out, shit goes to hell. It's pretty good. It's
Yeah.
pretty good. My number 10 is Sicario, which, oh my god, this movie's so amazing. It stars. Oh man, I should have had this shit up, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Sicario is basically a. Have you seen it?
No, no, that's on my list.
Okay, so it basically there's an FBI agent. She gets taken, or not taken. She gets involved with a task force to go with the CIA to kind of go into Mexico to bring out some drug, whatever, and it becomes this. Let me just tell you, the 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 Mexican drug war that we all know about. And we've all seen, shown to be one of the most dangerous things and the most fearful, areas in the world, is shown in full view here. You know what I mean? The way the film is done as far as tension, it's just tense. It is really well acted. It's one of those movies where it doesn't explain stuff. You just figure things out as you go because obviously as the person's doing it, they don't have to explain things. So anyway, it's really good. My number 10, Sicario.
All right. Sorry, I was doing some adjustments here in the list.
It's all good.
My number 9 is Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Yes, nice.
Yes, I honestly, I just kind of like gave my list a look see real quick here, and I'm a pretty violent person apparently. this I mean, this was the last movie before Disney bought it, and
It
I
shows.
mean, it definitely you can see it in the action. It's the in the espionage of it and everything. I really did. I love this movie. It's not my top Marvel movie. It's not even my top superhero movie. But in this decade, yes, it's
Nice,
definitely up. I mean, I do have a couple of superhero movies, so but this one definitely makes this cut. To me, it does. To
nice,
me, it really does.
nice. My number nine is the film Get Out.
Ooh, that's a good
Get Out.
movie.
Yes. Did you watch it?
Yes,
Did you saw it? Oh,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Such a freaking good movie.
What a movie!
I remember when I went to see it. It was one of those things I didn't go to see. Excuse me. I actually rented it, and it was one of those I didn't. From the trailer, it left me thinking it was this type of film that I was going to get mad at. So I was like, all right, I need to be in the right mindset for this film, right? And even though it has those moments where it's like, okay, yes, it has very racially tense moments. What is going on in the background is the furthest thing that you're going to actually even possibly think of, and it's so well done. Freaking Jordan Peele, this is his first, I think, directorial debut. Knocked it out of the park, man. It's rewatchable. It's really well acted. It's suspenseful. It just
Yeah, it does have some very
freaky.
like suspenseful
Yeah,
moments. Yes.
yeah, and yeah. So yeah, my number nine is Get Out.
All right. Following that, because again, God, John Wick is my number eight.
Nice. Oh,
I mean, what a better way to bring back Keanu Reeves as an action hero than with John Wick.
tell you,
I
it's a
mean,
revival.
if you look at as basic as like he's going on a mad spree because they killed his dog, sure, whatever, that's fine. But holy shit, this action is absolutely amazing. And no, it's not just because it's just a dog, but whatever. I'm not gonna get into that.
Yeah, watch the movie, guys.
Watch the movie. Watch the movie. All right, definitely one of the best action movies and one of the best movies of the decade. Even though like two and three did came out, they did not make this list because honestly, the first one is the best one.
I have to agree. I think I like two and three, but I
Right, that's
think
not to say that they were bad. I'm
yeah,
just
yeah.
saying.
I think they're probably a little bit diminishing returns, and I think they got a little bit far out, maybe, with the other
Yeah,
ones. But
they
I think the
kind of
first
went
one
nuts,
was,
especially on three.
yeah, yeah. Three was, excuse me, one was very grounded. So I agree. I agree. That's a great pick.
And the training that he went through and everything to do all these stunts.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah, he takes shit seriously.
Yeah.
Freaking Keanu, man, unbelievable. What a comeback. Uh, what am I? Number eight.
Number eight.
My number eight is the movie Arrival. Arrival. Have you
Really? I
seen
haven't
this?
seen it. No, I
Oh,
haven't
okay,
seen
okay.
it.
So, so I won't spoil anything here, but basically, it's a movie. Aliens come to the planet, and we start learning. The main character, which is played by what the hell's her name, Amy Adams. She is actually a language teacher, linguist. And she ends up working with the military, and she's like basically trying to figure out the what they're saying, and they be able to communicate with each other. But that's that's the simplistic point of what's happening. But
Okay.
what's going on around it is just something else completely. And for her, and I can't say much, but it's one of those things where when you finally realize what's happening, you're like, holy, it's a mind blowing experience, because it's like, whoa, wait a minute. You know what I mean? It's one of those movies that have that moment where you're like, whoa, I can't believe this has been happening this whole long. Anyway, I won't say anything else. It's well acted. Um, Visually, it's great because again, this is another good director. His name is Denis Villeneuve. He's done a couple of things. Anyway, really good movie. My number 8, Arrival.
All right. So for my number 7 is Deadpool. When Ryan Reynolds finally embraced who he was meant to be, who he was born to be.
He sure
And no
was.
matter what else he does for the rest of his life, he is Deadpool.
Deadpool.
Okay.
For
Like,
real.
whether it's Detective Pikachu, that's just a PG-13 Deadpool. Or you
Yeah,
watch Six Underground, which when you watch the movie, you if you just wear the costume, this is just another Deadpool movie.
pretty much.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's impossible. I can't unless he does something radical or whatever in the future. I can't shake that off. But yes, definitely, definitely Deadpool here is my number 7. If you need me to explain this movie, where the hell do you live?
For real. I think Deadpool is. I think it changed what a superhero movie could be. You know what I mean? And even though it did it on a lower budget, clearly, right? It was so clear he was talking about it in the film. You know what I mean?
Yes, he broke
But
all the walls.
yeah, even though it had that, you can see that it was, I don't know. He just kind of reinvented that character and made it his own. Basically, now I can't. When you see Deadpool, like you said, as a comic book character, whatever, and you read those word bubbles, you're hearing Ryan Reynolds' voice.
Yep.
And doing it, you know what I mean? It's like
Yes.
it's just him now. Good call, man. I like that. My number 7 goes to Zero Dark 30.
Oh, I
Uh,
did consider putting that movie on this list.
yes, yes. I love Zero Dark 30. This is the story of basically the hunt for Osama bin Laden, from essentially towards the beginning of it, in the beginning, shortly thereafter, 9/11, and then when he was finally killed. And Jessica Chastain plays a character, true to life character that actually assisted in hunting him down, and she is fierce in this film. You know what I mean? And it is it's a long movie. That's one of those things where it's like, whoa, this movie's long time, but I have watched it many a times, and it's just so good to see. And so yeah, Zero Dark 30 is my number 7.
I need to rewatch that because it's one of those movies that I watched on the theater when it came out, and I haven't rewatched ever since, and I really don't remember a lot of it.
Oh, from Zero. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's from Catherine Bigelow. Have you seen fuck, what is the movie that she did? It was also Catherine Bigelow was actually, believe it or not, if I'm not mistaken, she was married to James Cameron. So, and she's the director of this, and she also directed The Hurt Locker. You ever saw The Hurt Locker?
No, I didn't.
So, she is extremely talented. You can tell that I can't. They're not married anymore, but man, what a power couple that would be in film. You know what I mean? If they
Yeah.
were still together. So, anyway,
So my number 6, and I mean it takes on the title of best animated movie of the decade is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
nice,
Yes.
nice, love it, love
I
it.
I can't believe that not enough people haven't watched this movie. Not enough people haven't watched this movie just because it's animated or this and that, and you're seeing it in the wrong way. Come on, just because it's animated doesn't mean that it's for kids. And I'm not saying that this is for adults, but this is for everyone. This is such an amazing movie. It's a good coming of age movie. It has some very inspirational moments. There's not a forced what is it love interest here. Like,
Yes, exactly.
and
Oh,
like the diversity is not in your face, but it's there. It's not the focus of the movie, but it's there. It happens naturally or organically, and it's such a good movie. That leap of faith moment gave me goosebumps when
I've
I
watched
watch
it.
it.
I've watched that leap of faith moment probably 30 or 40 times more than the movie itself. I've watched the movie like
Such a
it
beautiful
is.
moment. And the animation and the whole, it's flashy, but it's gorgeous. It's so capturing.
Yeah.
Love this movie.
Oh, so
That is
good.
my number 6.
That is a great choice, sir. An excellent choice. My number 6 goes to Mad Max Fury Road. Um, I I never. It's funny. I've seen the old Mad Max, and I was never like a big Mad Max fan. You know what I mean? And I was like, okay, I know the movies from the '80s with Mel Gibson and blah blah blah. Right? I've seen all that. Into the Thunderdome with Tina Turner and all that good stuff. Yeah, none of that ever interested me. You know, it was like, okay, well, I guess those are just movies. You know. So when this came
80s
out, I was
movies being 80s.
80s movies being 80s movies. Yeah, exactly. When this came out, I was like, all right, I'll see it. You know, I like Tom Hardy, and all right, we'll go check it out. Um, I was not ready. I was just not ready for this film. With this film, have you seen this movie at all?
No, and
Oh,
it's a sin that I haven't.
okay. It's okay. There's plenty of time, sir. Um, the visuals of this film it's almost all, if not all, practical. Everything that you're seeing on screen is being done real. There's no CG. It's just everything, and it's just madness on the screen. But it's all contained and controlled and makes sense madness because it's Mad Max, right? You know what's already going on. This is a future where water is a commodity, and gas is a commodity. All this stuff. And the crazy part is, even though Tom Hardy plays Mad Max and all that, I think the Furiosa, which is the play by Charlie Theron, she actually feels to me like she may be even more a main character than Mad Max is, and she's another one which is badass in it, and it's just great. It's just an absolute great film. I have to say, there is very little CG. I'll say that back. Very, very, very little CG. But when you see the action pieces, these cars and running into each other and then jumping off one car, all that stuff is all being done. People are actually doing that stuff, and it's pretty spectacular. And the visuals are pretty amazing. So yeah, my number 6, Mad Max Fury Road.
All right, top 5, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh
Yeah.
shit, we're there already. Fuck. Okay.
Yes. So my number 5, it's Avengers Endgame.
Boom. Endgame.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yes. I
Endgame.
mean, how could it not be on this list?
Okay.
This is the movie that finished an era, that capped an era, right?
Yeah.
There's this
Most certainly.
entire giant story arc that Marvel crafted so carefully from the beginning. It's, I mean, it hasn't done before, right? And ever since they did it, everybody's been wanting to do it. No one has been able to emulate it the way they did it.
Nope.
Even DC, when it stumbled and fell flat on its face, trying to do with, which oddly enough, Batman v Superman, trying to catch up what DC had done in 5 years, they tried to do it in like 2 or 3, and that's no. They took their time. They presented the characters more than once before they actually even teamed up the first time.
Yep.
And it finishes with this, right?
Beautiful ending.
It's an amazing ending. It needed to end with this bang, and it did. Well, it ended up with more like a snap, but
Well said, sir.
yes,
Well said.
an amazing movie, and definitely had to be on this list.
Oh hell yeah. Hell yeah. Shit. Uh, well, sir, my number 5 is a little title called Logan.
Oh,
Yes. This is, to me, obviously my personal, probably my favorite superhero live action comic book film. Um, Probably my favorite. And yes, I understand Batman's out there, you know, but there's something about this one. Wolverine has always been one of those just awesome characters that, for the most part, not been good on screen.
he's
Um,
my third favorite superhero.
oh, there you go. He has not been done well on screen, for the most part. When we look back at X Men 2, I think he did, overall the film and his character did pretty decent. I'm not going to get into X-Men 3 and all the Wolverine films and all that. They were, and for me, if people like them, hey, it is what it is. Logan did something completely different. It slowed everything down. It brought us old man Logan, and it gave us this. You know what? I hate to say this. It gave us the old Luke that we got from Last Jedi. It's something like that, where someone who's been through the hero that we want to have this good life, because for your heroes, that's what you want in the end. You want them to succeed and become and defeat the villain and make it whatever and do. And that's not the life he has. You get to him at this point, and he's got a shit life. You know what I mean? It's horrible, and he's got his best friend, Xavier, and he's got, he's falling apart, and his falling apart hurts people, so that's why he's kept away. It's just this. It's sad, but then obviously they introduced the youngins, and obviously now we have to get back into this. We have to help them because they are our future at this point. And oh my god, dude, that movie is so good. And then on top of that, man, when he goes fucking berserk, you're getting the berserker here that we not get in any other X-Men film before that, and that's why I love it. So that's my number 5, Logan.
That's an awesome movie indeed. So for my number 4, to not stop this Marvel train, Avengers Infinity War.
Oh,
and yes,
wait,
I put
4.
Infinity War above Endgame. Mainly because, and I've said this before in the podcast, it's the focus of making the villain the protagonist of the movie and making the heroes the antagonist. Right? Nice. And the only, and somebody brought this to my attention recently, and I guess he was right to a point, but I'll let you to decide that the only movie that actually tried to do that was Batman Dark Knight Rises, right?
Okay.
With the focus being a lot on Bane, which I guess, yeah, he could be right. I didn't see it that way. But if that was their intent, then they completely failed at it. Where Infinity War, it is damn clear who is the protagonist of this movie. Who's the big baddie who's been in the behind the scenes for so long, and that's it. He's stepping up to the front line, and everybody falls.
Yep.
I mean,
that was probably one of the moments that in film and movies where you're like, I can't believe they went there. I can't believe they actually did that. Regardless of what you thought coming after that, the fact is that film ended there, and that could be an ending. If there was no film after that, that's still a solid ending. You know what I mean? That's still a solid and awesome ending. It's like, you know what? All these 10 years you were preparing and you still weren't ready.
And you failed.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, holy shit balls. Yeah, that's a great one, sir. Good choice. My number 4 is going to be some frou-frou thing. If Santos was here, he would call it a frou-frou thing. The Grand Budapest Hotel. It even sounds frou-frou, doesn't it?
What is this?
The Grand Budapest Hotel is a movie that stars Ralph Fiennes. He plays this guy named Gustav H. He basically is a concierge for a famous hotel. First of all, this is another Wes Anderson film. And if you don't know Wes Anderson, when he does his movies, you will recognize a Wes Anderson film immediately because of the way he frames and films his movies, his films. They're just done in a very different and quirky way. And so the moment you see, I don't know if you've never seen any of them, then you probably know what I'm talking about. The moment you see one and then you go to see another one, you're like, ooh, this looks similar to something else I saw. And it probably is. I can't really go into much because there's a lot of history there. But basically, he's famous in this the concierge of this hotel, and it's kind of going over the story that happened back in the day. Blah blah blah. It doesn't matter. Point is, it's an awesome story. It's well done. There's a lot of great actors in it. As mentioned, Ralph Fiennes. You have Adrian Brody. You have William Dafoe, Jeff Goldblum, Harvey
Hey,
Keitel,
I
Jude
recognize
Law,
two of the names. Oh, three names. Three names.
Bill
Yes.
Murray, Edward Norton.
Holy shit!
yeah,
How many people are
yeah.
in this movie?
Is a lot. Yes, a lot. There's a lot of people in this film. Owen Wilson is in it. Um, so yes, Wes Anderson. He attracts a lot of these actors, and because he does a lot of good films. Anyway, and to me, this is probably his best film. Wes Anderson's best film, Grand Budapest Hotel. That's my number four.
All right, guys, top three. My
Oh
number
shoot!
three is Logan.
Yes, there it is.
You
I was like, he
see,
has to have it on his list. There's no way.
of course. Okay, but I mean, this is my list, and I'm heavily biased. Like I said, this is my third favorite superhero, and you are partially correct in saying that he hasn't been portrayed well on screen. You are partially correct because the the script may not have been great, but the casting was perfect.
And where?
Wolverine.
Oh, and Wolverine. Okay, okay. The Wolverine. That's the one he was in
No, no,
Japan.
no, 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 no. Just Wolverine, the character, the casting was
Oh,
absolutely
oh, I see. I
perfect.
see. Yes, yes, I
Hugh
get it.
Jackman lived and breathed this character so
Oh,
well that it's just it rests. I mean, I don't read a lot of comic books. I did watch the cartoons. I did play the video games, and I read comic books here and there. But you get the feel for the character of his gruffness and how he is. His personality, and he portrayed it so well from that very first movie. From the second he flips off Cyclops with one claw.
so yeah.
To the beginning when he's fighting in the ring. I mean, damn. So I believe that one of the reasons this character is so successful, and the reason why we got Logan after so many years finally get a good Wolverine movie is because of Hugh Jackman.
I agree. I can definitely
I
agree.
mean, it was hard to add to what you said, so I kind of like that's why I didn't say anything. I was keeping it to myself.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. It's one of those. It's funny because it's. I've said it. I don't know if I said it before when we were talking about Logan at some point, but Logan is one of those weird films where it's it's not only, but a good portion of it being great is because of all that history, good or bad. It's it only exists because of it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
yeah.
without that history, I don't think the film would have as because if you've seen them all, then when you have spoilers, quick spoilers here for Logan, but when Xavier mentions that he accidentally killed so many of the mutants, the X-Men, you realize, oh shit, this is like all
Yeah.
that stuff you've gone through with these characters, and they all fall at the hands of their teacher in an
It's
accident.
it's
You know what
even
I mean?
worse if you consider what is it, Days of Future Past. If you consider that ending to be canon, which I'm not sure if it does, like where he's in the end and everybody's okay and shit. That it basically was a happy ending. It basically grabs that happy ending and craps all over it.
Craps over it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, yeah, they were happy for a few years until something went boom. Which, by the way, they never really mentioned what exactly happened or who died. Like, you don't know none of this, and none of it matters because that's
It
not the
does. Yeah,
focus.
yeah. Agreed. Agreed. It's
Such an
such a
amazing
good.
movie.
Yeah, I gotta watch that shit again.
So, my number three, Logan.
All right. My number three, guys, goes to the movie Drive. Um, this movie I own and have watched several times, many a times. It is a simplistic film. in the sense that have you seen Drive, sir?
No,
Okay. So it stars Ryan Gosling, and you probably know Bryan Cranston. He was from anyway. It doesn't matter. So
I know who that
he
is.
okay, good. He is Ryan Gosling is a driver, obviously. Um, but he by day he is a stunt driver. By night, he normally gets hired to drive for a job of some sort. He doesn't work for anybody specifically. He just does that job, and he's only there for a certain amount of time, and then he's gone. Um, and that's it. He gets paid to just do that. Um, it's an interesting, like, he ends up running into a woman. The woman ends up having a boyfriend or father of her kid who ends up having some trouble. He ends up trying to help out, and it leads to bad things that occur. The movie is very almost fantasy like in a sense, because he's almost like like this knight, you know what I mean, if you kind of look at it that way. The music is awesome, very 80s synth type of soundtrack. I just love this film. I just love the movie. There's not a lot of talking because it doesn't need to be. Everything's kind of, you can see it in their mannerisms and their you know just their facial expressions. It just kind of says enough. um, it's I love this film. I love this film.
Okay.
So my number three is Drive. So
All right. So number two. Woo, already hit the top.
are you there?
Number two, my friend, is The Irishman.
Oh, okay.
It's
Okay, all right. Good
the
choice. Shit, that's a great
meeting
choice.
of the Titans. Robert De
Yes,
Niro, Joe Pesci, Al Pacino in one movie.
in one film.
Good Lord. Why did it take so long?
Yes. How did it come to Netflix to do this? Why could no one else do this?
God, but I am so happy it happened. And it's a massive movie. It's 3.5 hours long. I
Yes.
mean, that kind of, I mean, it's a really long movie.
It is. It is. And
But
it
it's
could be
so
argued they could be
worth
a
it.
little, yeah, I agree. Oh,
It
the
is
journey
so
is
worth
worth
it.
it.
Yes. There are some slow moments, but they go so in depth into what that life was
Mhm.
and all that it happened. Like it's so true what it says that in the beginning that so many people don't even know who Jimmy Hoffa is, right?
Yes. Yes.
And even me, all I knew was that he was a mobster that disappeared and he's famous because of it. And that's not it. The man was huge in it in his time. I didn't know none of that. And just to see all of this crazy shit that happens behind the scenes. And again, watching this three titans just act on the screen at the same time was just absolutely amazing. Because goddamn, Joe Pesci was so good.
Yeah. Joe Pesci was awesome. It was so
Oh
good.
my
It was
god.
funny because if you've seen Goodfellas, have you seen Goodfellas? Yeah,
Yes.
you've seen Goodfellas. You remember that he wasn't a made man. He never got to become a made man.
Right.
Because of some shit that happened. But it's so good to see him here. Not obviously not the same character, but yeah, he was the top dude now. Like,
Oh yes.
nice to see it.
Oh yes.
Nice to
So
see it
good.
come back to him. So good for him. I like it.
So guys, this
Uh,
is on Netflix. Please watch this movie.
do it. Oh my God, it's on Netflix. There's no excuse not to watch it. My number two is a little title called Looper, which I just rewatched recently again, for the record.
I was told by Dark to put this movie on my list, but I haven't watched it.
It is I it is sci-fi, but not in the sci-fi sense of sci-fi. You know what I mean? There is science fiction, but it's almost just like there. It's like in the future, but doesn't kind of throw it in your face enough. You know, the flying car, the whole weird shit like that. It's just not. It's just there. It's so good, man. Freaking Joseph Gordon-Levitt uh plays a looper, basically, and loopers are people. It's weird. It's a weird concept. Basically, in the future, they send people back into time to get killed, because in the future, killing is extremely restricted. So it's easier to disappear them and get them in the past and have them killed out. And of course, a looper is just sitting there waiting for the person to get there, and then boom, they take him out. And the reason it's called looper is because that person is a killer up until he's retired, and he's retired by killing his future self. So the last person he'll ever kill will be his future self, and that closes that loop. That's why it's called that. So that's essential. That's not a spoiler. It's literally in the first few minutes of the film. But but how it handles that, and how it handles the story and everything, it has Bruce Willis in it, and this is Bruce Willis that's still cool Bruce Willis, not crazy Bruce Willis. It is, yeah, it's just really a surprise film, because I never, like, I saw it just kind of on a whim, didn't think it was going to be anything special. And no, man, it's such a good action sci-fi film. And that is my number 2.
All right, guys, this is it. Top movie
This
of the
is it.
decade.
The best one.
The Joker.
Boom! Whoa, Joaquin Phoenix.
Because it had to be the Joker. Which is funny that it's named like that, because it really isn't so much about the Joker, even though he does occupy most of the time there at the end. It's the birth of the Joker. It's this man's journey to becoming the Joker, how he slowly loses his mind with this society that doesn't care about him at all. I guess we'll be going into spoilers, so let me slow myself here a little bit on that. But Joaquin Phoenix's performance was absolutely magical.
It was. Absolutely.
Yes, the dancing that you see on the trailers, the creepy ass white makeup that it puts on at one point. It's just so, and it's sad. It's definitely a very sad movie. There's so many moments that you just can something good, anything good happen to this man at least once.
Yeah.
And it's the whole time is there to subvert your expectations up to the very end of it, which just brings everything else into question. It's such a good movie. Such an amazing movie.
It is really well done. I need to watch it again. I only saw it the once, and I was like, you know what? I was gonna go back and do it at the end. I was like, you know what? Just wait. And now I think it's come to Prime to rent. And I think I'm gonna rent it because I want to see it again because I really enjoyed it.
I want the physical copy so I can go frame by frame.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, it also comes with because if you do the good one, it always comes with that behind the scenes stuff, which is always
yes.
Always fascinating.
So yeah, guys, that is my best movie of the decade, The Joker.
The Joker. My number 1, sir, will probably come as a little bit of surprise considering everything that came before it.
Really?
I don't know. We'll see. My number 1 film of this last decade, guys, is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
What?
Yes, that is my number 1 film above everything I just mentioned a moment ago. This movie is so complete. It has everything. It has everything you want from a film. You know what I mean? From a movie, from a 2-hour experience. You know what I mean? It has action, it has comedy, and comedy that shit makes me laugh. And I have seen that. I own this movie, and I have seen that movie more than 10 times.
Funny.
Okay, I love our version of Spider-Man. For the record, the beat up fat Spider-Man. I love that Spider-Man, Peter B. Parker.
Peter B. Parker.
Love that Spider-Man, and yes, I know it's just. I love Miles Morales. His character is he reminds me, just his mannerism and the way he sounds a little bit of my son in New York. And it's and that's not really the reason why. It's just saying he reminds me of it. And it's just to picture that as a so it's just a picture, man. A kid growing up a minority, all right, growing up in the city and becoming the hero that everyone looks up to is it's not it's it's a dream, when you look at it, because so many of the heroes are not, they're not Hispanic. You know what I mean? They're not, you don't see that, or black. You know what I mean? And if they are, they're not the front person. They're not the main guy that's taking on the villain. And here you have, and the beauty of this thing is he doesn't automatically pick it up. He doesn't just become Spider-Man and take off. As a matter of fact, he's failing through the majority of the film. And I love it. It's like, that's what I'm talking about. That's another thing behind the film, that it reinforces, hey, shit's not going to get handed to you, even if you have superhero powers. You know what I mean? You still have to go out there and fucking earn it. And yes, he fucking earns it, dude. I love this fucking film, and then you have everything on top of that. The animation, which is gorgeous, the fucking soundtrack, which I can listen to a million times.
Oh my god, it's just so good.
It's everything I want from a film. This is 2 hours, and there is not a second wasted. There's not a moment that I do not want to just watch the screen. There's not a point where I can go, all right, I know this part.
Can't take your eyes off it. It's just so good.
It's perfect. It's perfect, and it is my.
It's got its wacky moments. It's got some very emotional moments.
Mm-hmm. Oh, great!
Listen, when the dad talks to him through the door, oh my god!
I was just gonna say that. I was just gonna say.
Shit,
I was like, oh man, it's so crazy, so good. And then shortly thereafter, through the door. Oh no, was it before? Shortly before that.
Were you talking about the leap of faith?
No. Shortly before that, because he got taken. The goober got taken away from him.
The goober.
He's like, no, you're not ready, dude. You're just not ready. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Yeah, and it's like, and then they're all outside, and they all want him. It's like none of them is like, oh, he really, whatever. But they all really do want him to join and to be part of it. But they all know he's not ready. And it's like, we can't make you ready. You have to be ready on your own. Fuck, I'm actually gonna watch that shit tonight.
And again, it's just, I mean, and this is still not spoilery, but just in case, like, in the end, when he reverses it and tells Peter B. Parker the same words that he told him in that room.
Oh my God, yes. Yes.
And again, it's not forced. It's just so natural that when you hear, like, oh my God, that is just so good, you get that emotion.
Yes.
So yeah, I can see why you would put that as the best movie of the decade. I can't disagree with it. I mean, I'm still keeping mine, but
hey, like I said, neither of these lists are wrong. It's just, I know this. If you were to look at this list and go, wait a minute. It's like everything else, like I said, from 10, Sicario, Get Out, Arrival, Zero Dark 30, Mad Max,
and then Spider-Man to the Spider-Verse.
It's like, and for those who haven't
Peter
seen
Porker.
Oh my God, I love fucking Peter Porker. I love Peter Porker. I love what is this? Oh my God, the black
Spider-Man
and white one. Noir. Thank you, Spider Noir. Yeah. Oh, I love the anime one.
That's, by the way, that's good. Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage. Oh, I love them all, dude. I love freaking Aunt May. It's just yeah, they're all good. There's just no character that I did not like in this thing. Even the crazy, massive wall design of the Kingpin. I was like,
you mean the Super Meat Boy design of the Kingpin?
Yeah, I was okay with it. It looks weird, or whatever, and I love the Octavia, Dr. Octavia. I loved her. She's like, nope.
Every character, everything was so good.
Absolutely.
That part when he throws the bagel and you see bagel come in a thought bubble.
I was like, really?
Really? It's those little details, man. It makes it so good.
It is, man. So my film, my number one, Spider-Man and Spider-Verse, and that, guys, is our list of films of the decade. Uh, Special shout out right now because I need to say this because I'm pretty sure if he was here, and I'm pretty sure he'll probably mention it next week when he's back. Dream Twister. He's out in Kansas City, by the way, in case you're wondering where he's at.
Freezing his balls off.
Freezing his ass off, and his balls. And if I had to guess what his film of the decade would be, I think it would be The Social Network. I think it's one of his favorite. He'll probably have to explain what it is, but I figured I'd throw that out there because I'm pretty sure that's his number one. If not, definitely close to it. So.
He's going to be shaking his fist furiously when he listens to this episode.
Damn you! Curses! All right, sir. Well, that brings us to the end of an awesome episode 195, the real 195.
Yes.
And this is Mad Dog signing off for this week. Please also go to, again, goodgame.rocks, join the conversation there. And please like, subscribe, and share the podcast with everyone. And now, this is Mad Dog signing off for this week. Mr. Chaos Reaper, take us home.
All right. Well, I got to go and dive back into Warframe because I have some boosters I got to take advantage of before they run out. And right after that, it's Mortal Kombat, baby. Combat League is waiting.
For me, sir, talking all this Spider-Man into Spider-Verse, I think we're just going to go watch it now.
That sounds like a good idea.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
GG!